Ahead of us here is Watling Street, a road that leads from here, well, actually more than from here, but from here to Dover through London, Londinium. It's an old Roman road, still in use today, in fact. It's a major route to get between the northwest of England and, well, West Midlands of England and Dover, and then would have continued from the other side of the channel all the way to Rome. So this road really does lead to Rome. Ahead of us, actually, is the Basilica. Would have been very tall. That bit of masonry we see up ahead would have been, well, it's one of the walls of the Basilica. There would have been a row of windows on the top and then an arched roof, so quite tall. Very large, 75 meters long, I think they said. And would have been a major meeting room where, back in the day, where they would have made announcements and such, held meetings. Moving ahead, oh, I forgot to mention, we're in the Wroxeter Roman City. Very large city, built back in the 1st century AD here in Western England. Well, we're going to the end of the Basilica. See what we have down here. You can see in the floor of the Basilica where the pillars would have been that helped to hold up the roof. On either side, a row of pillars. And at the end are what is believed to be a set of changing rooms, or the Romanized Britons, as they would have been called at the time. As we call them now. I don't know if they would have been Britons or Romans. No, they would have been Romans at the time. We call them Romanized Britons. Would have changed because through this archway here, in what is known as the Old Work, one of the largest surviving pieces of Roman masonry on the island, through here were the baths. Starting with the Frigidarium, which we are entering now. Wouldn't necessarily have been cooled, but it wouldn't have been heated. Would have had a cold plunge pool here, and probably another one on the other side where cool water would be kept, because through these openings it would lead into the tepidarium, they called it, a warm room. Had warm water in it where you could kind of prepare for the real bath to come, which was at the far end in the Vulcanarium. That would be a hot room. A very hot room up ahead. The fire, heat that would be in the furnace that would heat the water, be at the far end of the bath, and these would have brought the water very hot. These bricks we see here, they would have held up a floor. Would have been several feet tall. You can see the stonework on the side. The top of that would have been floor level once you were in the baths up ahead. So those bricks would have held up the floor. The smoke and the heat from the furnace would have flowed through, heating the floor, heating the room, because the Romans, bathing for them, is you would work up a sweat and then scrape off all of the sweaty dirt that you had on you, and then once that you were clean, you would plunge into the bath. And then after spending some time in the heat of the Vulcanarium, you would work your way back to the Tepidarium in order to begin cooling off before entering the Frigidarium again and exiting for your clothes. Over here we have an extension of the bath. The men and the women would bathe separately, at least at the time that this bath was in use. So it's thought that perhaps this is where the women might have bathed. Also, the women would schedule the bathing. Women would bathe in the morning, men would bathe in the afternoon and early evening. So, but this was still an extension of the bath complex. Over here in the ground, in this hole in the ground, was an open air bath. Rare in Britain because of the cool weather, cool air. It was filled in soon after it was built, but the stones we see in the floor here are original, 2,000 years old practically, from when it was a bath. Quite ancient. Up ahead here on the left, as we get closer, is a market, small marketplace. So this little square, the grass would have been probably grass at the time, and the red gravel would have been the walkway. And each of these small rooms that we can see would have been a shop. But unlike today where you enter the shop and buy what you're looking for, back then you would just walk up to the counter, say I'd like one of those, and then the shopkeeper would sell it to you. So inside here it would have stored all of their goods. Here we have a street. Again, there's Watling Street. This would have been a colonnade on the side. It would have been covered, provide shade for the hot sunny days of Rome, which we do, as you can see. We have sun here. It would be nice right now, I can tell you. A few more rooms over here. These are, more shops. Off to the left here, or in front of us. Moving right, you come across a latrine with the ditch still present down here. The latrine back in the Roman era was you just do a social affair. You just went in, had a chat with your friends while doing your business, and heading out when you were done. So over there, across the road, is a recreation of one of the houses that we might have seen in the area, or in the city at the time. Let's get a little bit closer. Columns in the front, a little covered area to keep the sun off. It looks a bit like sandstone, but I imagine it's been plastered and painted, or concrete and painted. All right, there we go. The actual Roman city here in Britain.